I do believe she is now joined us on the line now. First of all, Malou Innocent, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right, thank you very much for joining us. If this killing is confirmed, how much of a success is it for anti-Taliban Pakistan?
I think it's successful in one respect and not successful in another. In one respect, Baitullah Mehsud was responsible for a string of suicide attacks that have convulsed the Pakistani nation. He's responsible for thousands of deaths, possibly the assassination of Benazir Bhutto, the former prime minister, and also was loosely linked to Al-Qaeda as well. However, I think that we might be a little too presumptuous if we think that there won't be a successor fairly shortly. In fact, shortly after Mehsud was killed, a shura was convened in order to find who would be the successor to Mehsud. And in fact, they're thinking that possibly one of his commanders might actually assume the mantle. And so in the long term, I think that the intractable cross-border insurgency may actually continue, if not ramp up in the months ahead.
Our security correspondent, Frank Gardner, was saying earlier the confirmation of the death is going to be very, very difficult to get.
Right. In fact, if you look at the region itself, the Fatah region, the federally administered tribal areas, a lot of this is very inhospitable terrain. Not only are the tribes of the region heavily armed and very xenophobic, but also the terrain itself is extremely hard to monitor. So everything we're sort of getting out from this area is mostly from the Taliban sources, and those are ultimately those we have to defer to, since it's very difficult to get confirmation on the actual death.
We're hearing more and we're learning more about the use of these drones. What's the reaction there in Washington? What sort of mood is there about all that?
Unfortunately, I think many people instinctively feel that the drone strikes are effective, and in some respects they are. They have killed a certain number of high-level Al-Qaeda operatives, but at the same time we must also consider the costs associated with it. If you look at traditional population-centric counterinsurgency approaches, you'd want to limit your target as finely and precisely as possible, because if you go after, say, one militant and you kill him or her, for that matter, you may spawn more militants in the process, say 20 or 50 more. And so in that respect, when you look at the problem of insurgency and the sort of hearts and mind campaign that's involved, many of the drone strikes may actually be increasing or exacerbating the militancy we see in this very unstable nuclear-armed Muslim-majority country.
Can we read into any of these recent developments a stronger relationship between the US and Pakistan?
I think it is a symbol of a greater coordination between the Pakistani and U.S. intelligence agencies. I think that this is going forward a means of enhancing cooperation and coordination between the two countries. But at the same time, there has been a strategic drift between the two. On the strategic level, we must understand that the Pakistanis also separate good Taliban from bad Taliban. The good Taliban are those that cross the border and attack U.S. and NATO troops. The bad Taliban are sort of Mehsud's ilk, those that go after the Pakistani government and the military. And until the United States really addresses this core issue, the United States and international forces will be fighting in Afghanistan in perpetuity.
Malou Innocent, appreciate your time. Many thanks indeed.